Fires across the FM metro last night into this morning, according to emergency alert tracking app Pulse Point. There were 18 separate fires, including vegetation and structure fires in Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead. One house in Heatherwood Circle in Moorhead suffered a garage fire that lasted almost 2 hours, resulting in major damage to that residence. Then a house on 12th Street North in Fargo had a house fire that lasted nearly an hour. Emergency responders spraying the water in that home to keep that fire under control. And in West Fargo, reports of a structure fire were called in just before 3:20 this morning, 3:20 a.m. Our photographer on scene speaking with officials, they say that fire originated from a trash can outside of the home. West Fargo receiving aid from the Fargo Fire Department. Officials say that house is salvageable, but suffering about $35,000 worth in damages so far. Now, those are just 3 of the 12.5 fires that crews responded to since 5 p.m. on 4th of July. The West Fargo Fire Chief says they get a lot of calls around the 4th of July, almost all of them coming from improperly disposed fireworks. We'll work to bring you more information about these fires once it becomes available.